Hey guys, Budget Girl, and today I have a very special treat for you. I am going to be showing you 3 of my most requested recipes, and that is hummus, my iced coffee trick, and my cold oats. Now I'm gonna link, well, the iced coffee is, I figured all that out on my own, but the hummus recipe I use and the cold oats recipe, I've modified that too, but I'll link below a recipe for that I based mine off of. And the hummus is from Budget Bites, which when you guys ask me for it, I usually just post a link to her website because I love her website. But I'm going to show you step by step, and it looks like I have a mustache. Oh, that's better. Okay. I'm going to show you step by step how I make my 3 best budget-friendly recipes. So this hummus is going to feed me for like 2 weeks, and it's just going to be a whole bunch of clips, and I hope you guys like it, and please tell me below which is your favorite and if you're going to try any. Bye. My first recipe is going to be my hummus, which, like I said, is based off of a recipe on Budget Bites, which I will link below. And it uses 1 pound of garbanzo beans. You can get a can of garbanzo beans that have already been cooked, but that is much less budget friendly. It's if you do the dry beans. This pound of name brand beans, Camilla, because they were out of the Walmart brand, was $1.79. So I'm going to take this entire package and dump it in here, rinse it, and then stick it in my crock pot overnight. I'll show you in just a sec. I'm going to rinse these in cold water. You should always use cold water with beans, or else if you stick them in hot water, they'll get hard, at least according to my mom. And I'm just going to rinse, and then I'm just going to use my hand to drain them. And then I'm going to fill it up again and stick it on the crock pot. Been rinsed, and I've kind of looked through, and there aren't any rocks or anything in there. So I'm going to fill this up with cold water. I kind of just eyeball it. I want there to be enough for it to absorb, but not really too much. That's about right. Let's see. Goes right up to about right here from the bottom. So that's going to be plenty for it to absorb, and I'm just going to stick it in the crock pot. Not putting anything in here. This is just beans. I'm going to cover it, stick it on low overnight. It's probably about 11 o'clock at night right now, and I will turn it off in the morning when I get up for church. And by the time I get back from church, I will be ready to drain it and blend it, and I'll show you clips from that. So it's about 15 hours after I put the chickpeas in. I turned them off after church, and I've just been letting them cool. As you can see, they're mostly absorbed, and I can take one and just smush it to nothing, and that's what you want. So now I'm going to drain them over here. Okay, so I have drained my chickpeas, and they're nice and cool to the touch, and remember, I can just kind of smush them into nothing. That's where you want them to be. And I've set my stuff up with my blender. I've got my recipe up from Budget Bites, and I'm going to put in my chickpeas last, but the recipe calls for 3 cups of cooked chickpeas, 2 tablespoons of all natural peanut butter, and I just use this generic brand, but and I kind of approximate the hard to do with one hand. The peanut butter stands in for tahini, which I have no earthly idea how much tahini costs, but I know I have peanut butter on hand all the time, so that's one less ingredient that it actually costs. And I also use 3 tablespoons of olive oil. Once again, I just kind of approximate, and I have more than 3 cups of chickpeas here, so you kind of get used to it. 1/4 of a cup and 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, and I've made this recipe so many times, I just kind of keep tasting it until it tastes good. I'm a terrible example of a cook, but you guys are the ones that keep asking for this recipe. 1/4 of a teaspoon salt. It probably looked like a lot, but that doesn't come out of there easy. Let's see. 1/4 of a tablespoon of cumin, which, there we go. And I like to put a lot of minced garlic in and just a little bit of sriracha. So I'm going to do that. Like a lot of garlic. It tastes really good. And then just squeeze. And then I'm going to stick my chickpeas in there. I'm going to blend it and taste it and fudge it until it works right. I'll show you what I get. Add my chickpeas and just kind of let everything settle to the bottom. I will tell you, if you're using a blender, then you're probably going to have to add some water, and it's going to make it a little more watery than if you use a food processor. I don't have a food processor. I have used like a mixer in a bowl, and it came out a little chunkier than I like. This gets a nice smooth consistency. It's just you're going to have to do it for a little while, and like I said, you may have to add a little bit of water if the motor can't take it. Gonna do it. And this is what I came out with. It's nice and blended, and it's like 5 or 6 cups worth, and I still have chickpeas to go. I didn't add them all in because they won't all fit in here, I know from experience, so I'm going to, and this is really good, by the way. I just kind of do it to taste, and it's nice and garlicky. It's real smooth, and let's see, added about 3/4 of a cup of water, maybe half a cup of water, and it's got that nice little sriracha zing at the end. So I'm going to go ahead and put this into little containers and then kind of redo it with the rest of the chickpeas. It is delicious. I'm going to link the recipe below. Budget Bites actually has like 3 or 4 hummus recipes. I recommend the basic one, and then you can add with the peanut butter. It's called peanut butter hummus, and then you can kind of experiment on your own. But yeah, it's really yummy, and I eat it with pita and carrots, and it's an excellent side, or even sometimes just a total meal. So that is my second recipe. Once again, super cheap ingredients: generic creamy peanut butter, lemon juice, a little bit of olive oil, sriracha, salt, cumin, and chickpeas and garlic. So the website says, and what I really like about her is that she breaks down how much it costs, and apparently this is $2.24 a recipe, or 45 cents a serving, and you just can't beat that. So it's really good. I'm going to enjoy eating that this week. Bye. So I ran out of mason jars, so this is what I ended up making with just the one bag of one pound, one bag of chickpeas or garbanzo beans. As you can see, it filled a pint, which is about 2 cups, another cup and a half, 2 cups, and a smaller one, and this holds 2 cups as well. So that's quite a bit of hummus for basically $2, $3, $4 worth of ingredients, depending on what you have on hand. You can also add red pepper, other seasonings. I'm just doing garlic and sriracha for today, but it's really good, and I'm looking forward to eating it. And also, bonus tip, you can totally freeze this. You can totally freeze it, and if you just let it thaw, it comes out to the same consistency. It doesn't alter anything. So I'm probably going to put 2 of these in the freezer and just eat 2 this week. And then I'll have the other ones for next week or whenever I want them. All right, on to the next recipe. Hey guys, Budget Girl here, and I am showing you my second favorite budget-friendly cooking tip recipe thing. Anyway, I am making overnight cold oats, which so many of you have asked for my recipe for, so I'm just gonna walk you through it. So you need a bowl. Actually, you just kind of need containers, but since I'll be mixing up a big batch, and I'm using bowl. Old-fashioned oats. I don't use the quick oats. I use the regular kind. I just get them Walmart like this. And that's it. Some yogurt. You can use generic. You can use plain. You can use vanilla. Any flavor you want. I prefer vanilla because even if I don't have fruit to put in my cold oats, the vanilla makes it taste delicious. Milk. And if you want, fruit. I showed you in my grocery haul this past week that I got some peaches and some cherries, and so I've got those already pre-cut and prepped into my half-pint mason jars. And in some of these I have just cherries, some I have just peaches, and in one I have a mix. So I've filled them just to the 50 milliliter line. And it's fine because it's going to settle down. So I have 5, and I like to make these 5 at a time because I have 5 work days. So I bring one every day with a spoon for work. The rest of the cherries and the peaches I went ahead and washed and prepped. For the cherries actually going in my cold oats, I went ahead and destemmed and depitted them. For these, I just destemmed them. So as I eat them as a snack at work, I'll depit them then. And I've got them all in mason jars, so they'll just be ready for me to grab as the week comes. So the recipe I use for these half-pint jars is half a cup of oats per jar. So I need 1.5, 3, 5 half cups, so 2.5 cups. I just put it in my bowl, and then I forgot my thing. I'm going to do the same ratio pretty much with the yogurt. Really, I like to do a half a cup of oats, kind of a third of a cup of yogurt, kind of a heaping third. So I'm just going to do 2 cups of this. Use my spatula. I usually do this while I'm just like watching Netflix. So, and I just kind of sit here and do that. Catch up on Friends. You know, watch something else I've watched 1,000 times. Listen to an audiobook. Food prep doesn't have to be completely ridiculous. So I'm putting 2 and kind of an extra scoop in there of that. And that's pretty much half of this 2-pound container. And then, same ratio of milk. Half a cup per jar. So I need 2.5 cups. There we go. Now you can put your fruit directly in here. I just like to put it at the bottom so I don't end up with a whole lot of fruit in one cup and less in another. And the final thing I added just starting recently, but I swear to you, it makes all the difference in the world, is chia seeds. They add a little extra flavor and a lot more texture to the mix, and I just do a couple spoonfuls. I got these chia seeds at Whole Foods, and they've completely upped my cold oat game. I love it. So next time, I hadn't really tried chia seeds before, so I didn't want to commit to a whole bunch, so I just bought like a cup. Next time I'll buy a big package. And the chia seeds will expand, but not too much, and the oats will expand, but not too much. So you can pretty much fill your jar all the way up to the top. And I'm just mixing it. As you can see, it looks pretty good. And then I will fill up my jars. It's really simplest thing in the world. And what will happen is the oats will soak up the milk. They'll get a nice, wonderful consistency. The chia seeds will expand, and you will have an extremely delicious and filling lunch and breakfast. Or you can do them from lunch. I would totally eat these for lunch. And it's a really great way to start the day. And I just stick these in the fridge, and I kind of shake them up and I stir them up, and it's gonna taste amazing. So I hope you guys try this recipe. Super cheap. The oats were like $3 or $4. This was $3. The chia seeds, I don't know how much they cost per unit. I didn't pay much for this. Milk isn't that expensive either. And the fruit is completely optional, as are the chia seeds, but this is going to be really good. I used fruit I got on sale. The peaches were just $1.24 a pound, so I got 3 of them for just like $3. So, alright, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm going to finish prepping these, and it's just going to be the best breakfast ever and a really good way to start the day. I'm going to link a recipe to cold oats below. It's not the exact recipe I use. I kind of named it, but basically it's half a cup of cold oats to half a cup of milk to almost half a cup of yogurt, and then add your sides. So if you try it, please let me know how delicious it is, because I know how delicious it is, and I just want to share. So, all right, guys.
My third and final favorite budget recipe is my iced coffee. Now, I use this little silicone ice cube tray that I got at TJ Maxx. It was about $4, and I just make a regular cup of coffee in my mug. I add 1 packet of sugar and a little bit of creamer, and I mix it all together, and then I use this little thing to help me pour, but you can pour it directly from the glass. Basically, I mix coffee as I normally would, and then put it in the silicone cup. I use silicone because the regular ice cube trays have always been kind of hard to finagle, and silicone's really, really easy. The only tip I would offer you is do not fill the ice cups up all the way, or else they'll freeze together and be very difficult to separate. I use these little coffee ice cubes because it seems like when you put regular ice into iced coffee, it just doesn't taste as good. It makes it kind of weak and lame. And I've also tried just using straight up coffee, not mixed with creamer or sugar like I like to do, but that changes the taste also. Anyway, I just freeze it for a couple of hours. You can also, if you catch it just after an hour or two, it'll be kind of frosty, freezy consistency. This is what it looks like when it comes out of the freezer. Just kind of crunch the silicone to get it out. And then I mix my coffee once again in my cup normally. I fill it about halfway up, add my sugar and my creamer, and this is piping hot coffee I'm using right here. I'm sure if you have patience, you could make coffee, put it in the refrigerator, let it cool off, but I don't have the patience for that. I use piping hot coffee, add my mix-ins, which is just kind of a splash of creamer and a packet of sugar, and then drop my frozen cubes in. Because everything is mixed the same, it all tastes the same as the ice cubes melt, which some of them are going to melt. The first couple you put in there, while they're cooling off the hot coffee, are going to melt. So you just add a couple more on top of it, which is also why you only fill it up halfway. Mix and enjoy. This is my favorite iced coffee trick. It tastes the same. all the way through. It doesn't change taste as it melts. And one silicone ice cube tub is usually good for about 2 cups of coffee, iced coffee, and it's just delicious. I got this little cup at the Dollar Tree for $1. It's plastic, but that'll do. I hope you enjoyed this tip. Let me know if you try it or if you know how to do iced coffee another way. Bye.